Welcome to the Space Marketing Podcast, where we look at marketing principles, strategies, and tactics through the lens of space. Hi, I am your host, Izzy House. How do you tell your company's story? Today, we will talk with SkyScale and explore insights on how modeled replicas can build your brand story in a physical way that resonates with your audience, engages your customers, and may help attract investments. So lift off in 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the Space Marketing Podcast. Information relating to our discussion today and links to the video version can be found in the episode show notes on spacemarketingpodcast.com. Please like and subscribe to the podcast. It will help more people reach beyond the atmosphere. Information in this episode is for entertainment and information only. Please consult a professional for your specific situation. Today, we will dive into the art of storytelling and explore a unique approach that brings products to life in a whole new way using detailed model replicas. This strategy captivates audiences by helping them visualize, interact with, and connect emotionally to your product, giving them a compelling experience without the real thing in front of them. Beyond customer engagement, we will also cover how model replicas can appeal to your investors, offering a tangible and captivating preview of how your products will impact and market fit. From creating immersive experiences to enhancing presentations, this episode is packed with insights on how model replicas can build your brand stories that will resonate and attract investment. So please meet SkyScale, David Chalkho, founder, and Dario Wainer, architect and marketing guru for SkyScale. So welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Izzy.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, thank you for being here. So first of all, we take a few minutes to kind of get to know you and talk about your journey on how you got to where you are now working with space replicas. So, Dario, why don't you go first and tell us how you got involved in space?
15 years ago, I was starting companies in a lab, and one of these companies was a great company right now, Logic, and I had the privilege of being part of this birth. So during the 21st century, space industry is becoming a great democratic industry, and a lot of private companies are growing in this sector. And I had the privilege to see the birth of a startup who grows a lot. And then David is my friend, and I admire him, and he was doing a lot of stuff about scale modeling, and this is a great opportunity for us to take advantage of the needs of our potential and current customers.
So, David, tell me about your journey to space. How did you go to space?
Okay.
How did the journey happen?
So I'm an industrial designer. I worked as an industrial designer for many years. I still do. I still work as an industrial designer. And I was always fascinated for the way origami techniques are applied to space, the way things are deployed in space, the way you can have huge extra structures like the Shem Wave Telescope, for instance, in space, that can fit on top of a rocket. So there was always a link between different things that I found very interested in with the space. I found myself working on a design project for a huge company here in Argentina, which is INVAP. INVAP is a contractor for different missions. And they just ordered me a first model that they saw I just had the ability of making plenty of things. So they ordered me this very first model that was a GEO model, a GEO satellite model, a big one. From there, I started just getting different orders for other companies, for the Argentinian Aerospace Agency, and from companies abroad in United States, in Europe, and this is how it started. So my fascination from space, I believe, it started a long before, and my work as working on models would be about 15 years ago, something like that.
Well, I've seen pictures, and if you're listening to this and you want us to look at some pictures, we're going to have some pictures on the video part. So do
Yeah.
travel over to YouTube and watch the video to see some of these amazing models that we're going to be talking about. So go ahead and tell us a little bit about SkyScale and what it does.
Okay. So we focus on building very detailed models, aerospace models. There's a wide range of different models that we tackle. We work on satellite models, LEO satellite, GEO satellite, big ones, still CubeSats. We also work on the radars. We have been doing projects related with launchers, and we are not just a company that is working on 3D printing parts and making kind of a model that are focused on just what you see. We are very interested on understand how things works, how things are deployed in space, it moves, and that's the way. That's what we do, and that's the way that allow us to better understand what to show and how to make these models more appealing to clients, to investors, more appealing for education, for getting people being interested in space.
Dario, did you want to add to that?
Yeah, of course. Our customers are space marketers. They are in charge of think about how a tangible model could represent the vision and the mission of the company. So tangible is very important in space industry, particularly. Not every industry need physical models, but space industry launch their technology to space, and this technology disappear from the earth. So they need to replace. They need to show a tangible model of what they do, and what they do is epic. They are not doing a simple product. They are doing rockets, satellites, who are transforming our life, who are increasing humankind. It's humankind augmentation or humanity augmentation, and we are attending at the beginning of a multiplanetary world. The last 2 weeks were incredible for the industry. So we are solving the problem of building a tangible model for companies who are in space industry.
I
Yeah,
want to tell you, I love this story, and I love this particular way of telling a story. So back in the Apollo program, NASA would bring models of rockets and capsules to promote what they were trying to accomplish with the moon landing. And this was wildly successful. It was a way to make it real. And it was a story that engaged the audience and made a difference on whether or not the American public would support this particular moon landing.
a bit comment. I saw this documentary about NASA. I believe it was from the early 80s, in which there were people from NASA that went to the Oval Office to try to convince the president, I believe it, why they should build a space station. And they went to the Oval Office with all those little, very accurate models that shown to the president, and the president, the moment he saw the model, he said, "We must do it." So it is something that works for education. It is something that works for engaging with investors. It is something that works also for governments to help them to make decisions, and it's very interesting in this way.
So when you go to an investor and you've got a tangible product that you're able to have them hold, it makes it real. It's more than just a presentation. So do you want to talk about the different types of things that the models can show and demonstrate to an investor?
I could tell you about different key projects we made. For example, we made a project for the University of Luxembourg, in which it was important for them, for the client, not only to have a replica, a scale model of the satellite. In this case, it was the Proba 2. It's a satellite that was built by the ESA. They also wanted to use this model to validate software, navigation software that they were developing. So this model had to include different aspects, specific aspects regarding the surface finishing, the way the light is reflected, plenty of different details that would allow those people just to attach the model to a robotic arm and then run the software they developed and being able to understand whether the software works or not. There were other cases in which it was very important for the client to be able to see the inner part of the spacecraft, whatever is inside, because there are different cases in which you have plenty of technology that is hidden inside the box. And then you go for investor or clients, and they don't understand why they spend so much money on this, this box, this anonymic box. So you must show what is going on inside. So there are models that we made for Reorbit, which is a very well-based startup in Finland. And I was asked to show all the inner components.
Izzy, well, as you know, we have a lot of nice stories, a lot of great stories about our customers because they are doing great things. But about investors, when a founder is raising funds and they are launching their satellite, they're launching their rocket, their first launch, the second, they need to share with investors a way their investors could tell to their circle in which company they were investing, in which company, which type of company, the mission of the company. Imagine a company who is doing space mining, asteroid mining, and they need to understand, well, what is a refinery to mine an asteroid? Is the same one, is the same thing as a satellite? Is a new thing in the world, because in Earth, of course, mining is happening in a different way. So we have to create new environments. David is telling you about a challenge, for example, with solar panels, trying to to create a new environment happen in space, but to show in Earth.
Well, and being able to show inside the box is a great way to enable trust, and trust is huge when you're trying to work with somebody or you're trying to get a customer or a client or investor. And being able to show how everything inside is it's an education piece. And education, like my listeners know, is one of my favorite forms of marketing, is when you educate who it is that you're talking to.
A bit about it, which is related with the way you showcase, and it's related also with education, because the project we did with NASA, it was it tackled different mechanisms and structures that they built that were able to deploy a bigger structure in space. So we managed to replicate all those things to showcase to people the way you launch the satellite and the way it is deployed in space. So that's why it's very important for us to understand, beside the shapes and beside the parts, beside this particular 3D printing part, what is that we are going to show? What is the core of what we want to showcase? And this is what happened with the JPL, with NASA. We built this huge model. It was about 3 meters tall model, and we managed to replicate not also the part itself, but the way it deploys in space.
Which this is a very important thing to be able to show all the details. But there's times when there's not. Like, for example, if you want to give a gift to your investor of a rocket that it's going to be launching on, you can do that too.
Let me explain a little thing about our different formats. Miniatures for online stores, for fandom of the companies, but also miniatures or premium miniatures for the desktop of the investor, or for a facility you have to show a most important replica to strengthen the brand.
That's so interesting too. If you can give an investor something that they want to keep, well, that right there makes kind of almost that yes happen right off the bat if they're wanting to do that.
Plenty of different applications.
Use cases,
Yeah,
the use cases are plenty, and trade shows. And the challenge in every use case we are addressing is how to, we can't live only in a digital space. We have to convert from bits to atoms. 3D print is a way to go from bits to atoms, and atoms in space industry are essential. And atoms are essential to build trust. Atoms are essential to show your brand in terms of trust and in terms of power. And this is what we are doing, and this is our challenge in every customer we are working with.
It's also excitement too, because like if you were to walk into a company and you see a 3D replica of a satellite or a rocket, you're automatically in that story. You're with them, and it's just a tingly moment, and so that is very powerful. Hold on to your boosters. We will be right back with SkyScale's founder, David Chalkho, and Dario Wainer, architect and marketing guru for SkyScale, after the briefest message from our sponsors. Please like and subscribe to the Space Marketing Podcast so you don't miss a thing. Okay, now I'm going to kind of switch it a little bit. So what are some of the marketing strategies to get your brand's awareness out are you using? For example, we met on LinkedIn. So you want to talk about how you're expanding your awareness out?
Of course, LinkedIn is our first field where we are working, telling every week a new story, and we have a plan of content during the next year, and we have a lot of surprises, a lot of new projects, a lot of potential new use cases. We are attending SAT Now in March in DC. We are attending different events. We are understanding the importance of events, the importance of trade shows. We need to show our work physically also, and we are trying to help marketers not only offering products, but engage with them to understand the emotional connection our models could get from customers, investors, and stakeholders in general.
That's one of the challenges that about what you're doing too, is that your whole premise is that you're providing customers with a tangible replica of their part. So, but that means that you have to do the same. And coming from Argentina, one of the challenges, I'm sure, is the travel, being there and showing your tangible products in front of them. So how do you manage that from being in a different country?
There are different ways to tackle this thing. So one is we just have traveled a lot, and there are a lot of projects that we took with us to the customer, whether it was in Europe or United States. And we have this ability to be in the place, to build models in place, like it was in Luxembourg, for example, or Chile, United States, or NASA also, that where we build this big satellite model. So this is an approach.
Of course.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something about your last question. Of course, we are building models our customers are going to show, or they are going to sell in an online store. They are going to show. They are going to give them investors. In every case, we need a perfect experience. Not only the model, but the assembly, the transportation, the box in itself, the premium box, because we are delivering a premium experience in our service. The model is part of this premium experience because space companies need premium service.
Well, they're customers too. I mean, when you get your new phone, it's half of it is the box, and you open that box and it's like, woohoo, look at what I got. If you have a huge model, that opening that box may be a little bit of a challenge, and it may be a very monumentous open.
An essential part of our value proposition. We are specializing in space industry. So space industry is for us our world where we understand marketers, where we understand communication people, where we understand the need not only companies but museums, public organizations, agencies, state agencies in the world. They are in the need of create models who represent technology in different countries. So we are attending and we are helping the ecosystem in a whole thing with our premium experience.
Now, as you're going down this journey, so what do you see happening in the next 10 to 20 years within the space industry?
I think the future of the industry is happening into a fast changing world. So the future of scale models in space industry is going to be about being immersive, being interactive, producing tangible models, but connecting with a world who is, as David says, being and evolving in a completely connected world. So this is the future for our work also, and we are going to address this challenge.
So, as the listeners go through their day and they're thinking about things, what kind of thoughts do you want to leave them with as they mull over in their heads during the day? What are your final thoughts for today?
Well, I believe for us it's important to remark that our works is not just addressing scale models in a way of just 3D printing parts. We want, we always want to go a bit deeper into better understanding the missions, the things they do, and from that understanding, understand better the better way to showcase what they're doing. So I believe this is a value that we want to preserve, that it works for us. And we are in a growing moment that we want to keep. We want to keep being connected with the industry to wide the range of companies that are connected with us.
People, and I am included, we are living in a very digital and in a very attention economic world, and we are creating emotional connections with tangible objects. This is our value proposition, and this is our challenge for the future.
A special thanks to SkyScale's founder, David Chalkho, and Dario Wainer, architect and marketing guru, for sharing their journey to space. Be sure to check out their links listed in today's show notes. Please like and subscribe to the Space Marketing Podcast to help us get the word out about this incredible industry of space. I hope that you have found this podcast useful for your journey as you reach for the stars.